off again. But it's the only way.
Good morning, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith, and Holly Blades. Good morning, Holly.
Morning, Steve.
Bright and early. Peter Beardsley today, so we've got to get on early and get out of the house. Looking forward to seeing you this afternoon with Peter. Should be great, as always. And apart from Peter Beardsley, the one name that is on everybody's lips is, of course, Bruno. Bruno, that's him, yeah. Bruno, it looks like we've finally got him across the line. It's a big name, Holly. How excited are you to see him in a black and white shirt?
Yeah, massively. I think a few of us were starting to worry a little bit. We hadn't made much movement, signed 2 players, and we were thinking, are we going to get anyone else in? Maybe a few scrappy loan deals at the last day, but to get someone like Bruno is absolutely brilliant. And playing alongside Joe Linton as well, we're going to be like the new Brazil side.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And John from QTech hasn't wasted much time. He's already got the yellow top sorted out. So get yourself on nufcmatters.com to buy your Bruno t-shirt. Newcastle Brazil t-shirt looks really, really good. Well done, John. Just to update everybody as well, tomorrow, a lot of people saying, are you doing anything for transfer deadline day? I've had tweets, I've had inboxes on Facebook, I've had text messages. Are we doing anything? The answer is yes. We just needed to get it sorted out because obviously we're aware that the lads who do our Monday show do a bit for Loaded as well. They do a transfer deadline show, but we're doing one as well. As I say, there's plenty of viewers to go around. So starting tomorrow at the usual time of 7 o'clock, you'll be joined by Pete and by Chris. They'll be doing the fans forum, but it's a fans forum with a difference. It's a fans forum deadline day forum. So get yourself on. Let us know how you think Newcastle have done in the window. Of course, we are still very active, still trying to bring in a centre half once the Bruno deal is announced. And there could be more surprises. Who knows? So we wouldn't be doing our viewers justice if we didn't do something. So after the lads pop off, I'll be on, Holly will be on, and we'll have a few guests on as well. Not necessarily from Newcastle United's perspective. We might have fans on from other clubs. And of course, if you want to join me and Holly on screen, after 8 o'clock and see the transfer deadline in together, you're more than welcome. So that is what we're doing tomorrow. We'll not put an end time to it. If Newcastle say the transfer window is over for them at 10 o'clock, we'll log off. But we are going to do one. So there you are. So set your reminder, 7 o'clock, join Pete and Chris. And of course, you can come on screen as well. Should be a really good night. And while I'm promoting shows, don't forget, Wednesday, after we do Geordie's here, Geordie's there, we are going to be doing a new show. It's called Steve Wraith's News of the World. I'm co-hosting it with Patricia Devlin and with Lee Davies, 2 good friends of mine. And this show is going to be something completely different. This is going to be current affairs. Patricia's going to come with some stories. Lee's going to come with some stories. I'm going to come with some stories, and we're going to put them out there. So it's going to be completely different to what you usually have on NUFC Matters. Who knows what they're going to bring up? It could be something relevant in the news. It could be something relevant from their story that sells. Who knows? But well worth looking at that. And as I say, that will be on Wednesday night, straight after Geordie's here, Geordie's there. So well worth a mention. And I've got to mention the Food Bank T-shirt as well. Mia Dad has agreed that he's going to sign this T-shirt that John from QTech knocked up in aid of the food bank. So that's pinned at the top of my profile on Twitter, at Steve Wraith. Get your bids in. It's currently at £300. Mia Dad has said he'll sign it as well, which is fantastic. And following in the footsteps of Chris Ayers' T-shirt at the weekend, which was amazing, Holly, wasn't it? Over £5,700 raised off a T-shirt.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely way to honour Chris's memory as well. And I'm sure he would have been proud to think that he can help that many families in Newcastle.
Yeah, fantastic. So getting back to Bruno, we're going to dip into the comments like we often do at the weekend and see what people have got to say, and a lot of excitement about it. And let's start off with Mad Mark. What does he have to say? He says it looks increasingly likely that Jesse Lingard will be allowed to come to us after reports of the vile actions of Mason Greenwood towards his partner. Yeah, I've only just cottoned on to what's happened with that because I've been out and about this morning, busy day as I've said. And I've heard obviously stuff, rumours, etc., that are circulating on social media. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't really know. I've not heard anything, but apparently it's vile and not very nice. If that's the case, that will be interesting to see if that has an effect on Jesse Lingard. Is that one you'd love to see over the line, though, Jesse Lingard, Holly?
Yeah, I would. I know we were constantly linked with him and both him and Dele Alli, and personally, I'd love Jesse Lingard. I think he's still fairly young. Well, he's not. He's in his late 20s, but I still think he's got a few more years in him. Not quite at that 30 mark yet. So I think definitely he'd make a massive difference within the midfield.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see him come. I think it would be a great signing for Newcastle, and why not break the bank? Just pay the money and, not a loan fee. Try and get him permanently. I think he'd love it at Newcastle. And with Bruno coming, it's another incentive. John Askew, morning. He says, Steve, Holly, assuming we get the Bruno deal done, if in the unlikely scenario that we make no further signings, will we have enough to survive, Holly?
I think obviously we saw an encouraging performance against Leeds a couple of weeks ago, but if we didn't sign anyone else apart from Bruno, I'd be still a bit worried. I'd like to see us probably get another striker in, probably another defender, at least another 2 players. Is it impossible? No, it's not, but I think it'd be very, very difficult, and I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we got 1 or 2 others.
Yeah, I mean, look, we need a centre-half. There's no doubt about it. We need a goal scorer, John, as well. And I've said this on numerous occasions over the last few days. I would prefer to get a goal scorer in than get a centre-half in. If it had to be between one of the two, I want both, really. But if we had to get one, I'd rather it was a goal scorer. We're desperate for goals. And I think the back four and the goalkeeper can do a job until the end of the season, 100%. Any combination of what we've got can do it. Fernandes has been out to Saudi training. Surely he's got to be close to coming back to playing. He's got to be. And he's good enough. Shaw proved it down at Leeds. He's got it in him. He played well. Dummett played well. Trippier's a godsend. Born captain. Lascelles didn't play badly at the weekend. One bad mistake against Leeds. But other than that, kept a clean sheet. He's captain in the dressing room. Whether people like him or not, he can still do a job till the end of the season. And Dubravka is one of the best keepers in the Premier League still, despite the fact he's certainly been, coming back from an injury, and it's affected him. Clearly has affected him, the length of time he was out, etc. But still one of the best goalkeepers. So I personally feel get a goal scorer in. Jesse Lingard can score goals. Maybe that's the way Newcastle's thinking. And Dan Burn would be a good centre-half. He's an improvement. I think we've all agreed on the show, more or less, that he's an improvement. We've got Malcolm probably didn't think that so, but everybody else more or less says, yeah, Dan Burn, definite improvement. 6'7", commander, leader at the back, great with set pieces. If we can get both of those players in, or just if we can just get Dan Burn in, I guess, it's been a great window. Better than any other under Ashley anyway. Better than the last 14 years. Probably one of the best windows you've ever experienced, Holly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to disagree with that. And I think obviously signing Kieran Trippier was massive. I think he's a great player. And then obviously to bring in Bruno as well, I think that's just the icing on the cake. Yeah,
John Askew says, if the fans have been buzzing about this transfer window, do you think they'll enter some fantasy dreamland in the next one? Bearing in mind it's easier to do business in the summer. I believe they'll go gung-ho in the summer, Holly. Again, within a budget that they'll create. But yeah, I expect big business in the summer.
Yeah, I do as well. I think that's when we'll start to see a real rebuild and actually, thinking about players who can get us to climb the league into the next season if we're still in the Premier League, that is. So definitely I'm looking forward to the summer window, and the January one's always already been a really good kind of look ahead to what we might have in store.
Yeah, okay. I've just had a message from Chris Hall as well. Pete Davey. They're going to start their show 6 till 7:30 tomorrow. So the fans forum that I mentioned earlier, I've just been trying to get clarification of this. The fans forum deadline day will start at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and the lads will be on taking your calls from 6 till 7:30. I'm going to jump on then. Holly will jump on, and we'll just see where we'll go. We'll get a few guests on, and we'll get you on. So we'll continue it. So it's going to be quite a long show tomorrow night. Bring the coffee. Bring the things to keep your eyelids open, the cocktail sticks. It could be a late one, but it'll be an exciting one as well. So thanks to the lads for getting back to us on that. Looking forward to that show immensely. Okay, back to the comments. And Tom Dixon says, with Bruno deal almost done, what other signings would you like to see come through the door? Well, we've just touched on that, Tom. We've said we'd love to see Lingard. I think we'll both agree on that. And I think Dan Burn would be good. Look, never say never on Costa. Never say never on Botman. Those deals are still, potentials. Carlos and Botman could still come through the door. If they don't, they could come through in the summer. But yeah, I think a centre-half, a centre midfielder and a goal scorer would be great. I think by the looks of it, it looks as if we're going to get a centre midfielder and, a centre-half. So we will see. Paul Oxley, morning. He says, see, stories are circulating that we are planning £25 million bid for Cody. Is that for his left leg or his right? Talking 50 million plus easily for him. Yeah, Connor Cody, a name which we've spoken about often on this show. I'd love to see Connor Cody at Newcastle. I think that's one for the summer. What about you, Holly?
Yeah, I saw a story yesterday that apparently we've put a 25 million bid. I can't see us getting him in this window for 25 million, but I'd absolutely love him. And again, if we can't get him in now, I'd love to see us go in again in the summer and try and bring him to Newcastle.
Okay, Bernard Morning, he says, thinking of karma and the old expression of what goes around comes around. Do you think we'll let the so-called big boys know how they treated us when they want to buy our players in the future? Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Again, Manchester United probably spring to mind on this particular comment and just the ludicrous fee they were trying to charge us for a relegation clause that if Lingard came to Newcastle, Newcastle would have to pay a loan fee, pay his wages and pay £12 million on top if we stayed up, because it would be all down to Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I can't see us being that petty, to be honest, in the future, but you can't lie. Some teams have been just absolutely, totally and utterly stupid the way they've went on in this window.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Has Lampard been announced at Everton?
I haven't seen it, no.
No, I haven't either. Paul seems to think he has, saying that the Everton game will be harder now. If Lampard gets the job, he hasn't got a great deal of time to turn things around, Paul. And he's walking into a club which is in disarray and a dressing room which is an absolute mess by the sounds of it. So I wouldn't get too concerned. Can't take that game for granted, though. Newcastle didn't suddenly become Brazil at Leeds. They got a bit of luck, which has deserted them all season. And they got a 1-0 win. It's a must-win game for Newcastle. They need to drum that into the players, and hopefully this team bonding will help that. But not all teams get a bounce when a manager comes in. Newcastle didn't get a bounce under Eddie Howe, it has to be said. They changed the formation, they tightened up. Some players have become better players. Some players we thought couldn't give a monkeys suddenly look as if they're world beaters now. I'm thinking of Shelby there. So look, it doesn't always work like that. And Lampard, although I think Lampard's a good one for the future, this is a big test for Frank Lampard. He went to Derby where there was no pressure and he did well with the kids. He went to Chelsea, he had all that money that he couldn't spend because of the transfer ban. Again, he had to work with kids, but he found himself out in his ear. This is a big test for him. I think a lot of people are looking at Steven Gerrard next and expecting Frank Lampard to be the same. I'm not so sure. Jan, happy birthday, Jan. Happy birthday. It's or Jan, whatever it is. I'm never sure how to pronounce it. You might have to tell us. But it is your birthday, so happy birthday. I did see that earlier on that you posted something on there. Afternoon, Andy. You must be in a foreign country, so afternoon to you. Geordie Two for Life, good morning. It's going to be a hectic couple of days, but we've done excellent business regardless if no one else comes in. I don't think anybody could argue. I really don't. This is an awful window to buy players, and we have done very, very well. Vince says, good morning to you both. Here's a little song for our new song. It's for our new signing. It is continued. Bruno, 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 your football is great to see. Oh, Bruno, 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 39 is your dad's taxi.
I mean, to be honest, it sounds like something my dad would make up.
Well, maybe we'll get your dad on singing it next week and see whether he's. I mean, we know what your dad's like. We're singing at the match, like. Bruno, what a fantastic signing, says David. We kind of disagree, mate. We kind of disagree. Oh, it has got another chorus. His name is Bruno. His dad drives a taxi. He has come to the tune to play with Big Joe and St. Maxi.
Does his dad actually drive a taxi?
He must do. He must do. And there's more. Bruno, your football is great to see. Oh, Bruno, 39 is your dad's taxi.
I mean, fair play. It's too early in the morning for me to be thinking of songs like, but fair enough.
It might catch on. Probably my version of it probably doesn't quite hit the heights.
Well, we don't know what tune it's meant to be sang to be fair.
We don't know, and me reading it like that doesn't help. Okay, but it's for comedy value. Thanks, Stephen Holly. No problem, Don. Terry says, absolutely buzzing that he has signed for the club. Rachel, hope you're well, and glad to see you've got your tickets for the summer do. Looking forward to seeing you there. Trulls coming in with some info says we have made a new bid for Zapata. From what I have read, which would be interesting. Great. I think Newcastle will be busy. They will be busy. Jesse is just reaching his peak, says Jeff. Yes, Jeff, certainly is. And it will be a huge statement of intent if we can get him. John says Zapata would be their dream signing, which, again, it's another name we've been linked with all the way through. Paul agrees with me that we need a goal scorer. Graham Moore says, new players, which is best, buying now with Newcastle premium on fee or the summer when more teams interested and an active bidding war? That's a good question. I mean, January, we know we need players to stay up. Do you think they'll be looking at players and thinking, well, we'll go for him in the summer, Holly? Or do you think, do you think they're just going all out to sign whoever they can?
I think they will be looking ahead to the summer because it's going to be a lot easier for them to recruit players. I think they found it difficult in this window, as you would, considering we're sitting in the bottom three and we have done for most of the season, if not all of the season, I think. But yeah, definitely, I think you've got to look ahead. I think they will have players in mind, and I think they'll also be prepared for if we're relegated or if we stay up, and they'll have different targets.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the summer window will be so different. It'll be completely different to what people are expecting. There'll be plenty statements of intent. I think when this gets started in the summer, it's one of those windows we've dreamt of for many years, and it'll be fantastic, I'm sure. Okay, I think Howe said Fernandez is just with the physios at the minute, not full training. Says Blue Moon Boy, thanks, I missed that. Tom saying, will Wilson be fit for the Everton game? Is it too early? Too early, Tom. Don't think he will be back for another month at the very least. JJ says, that's because I'm old school. You score 2, we will score 3. That's my kind of football too. Yeah, great times under Keegan. Mike Gent says, strap yourself in and get ready for tomorrow. I think it's going to be an eventful day tomorrow. Certainly do. And Mitch has certainly alluded to that on the Three Amigos, thinking he seems to think there's going to be some kind of marquee signing announced, so that would be great. Why can't Jesse Lingard buy himself out of his contract for 3 million and be free to pick his club? It's a good point, Robert. Those kind of things do happen. Rachel just wishes that they would get Bruno officially announced. I think the problem we've got with that, Rachel, is obviously the different people in different countries. Bruno's obviously on international duty. Newcastle and Saudi. I think it will all get announced, and I think they'll probably announce it tomorrow. Officially tomorrow. I don't think it'll be then. We are yet to see our star striker, says Jeff. Stephen Parker says, Steve, you think Botman or Carlos has got legs after Pete's tweet? Possibly, mate. Possibly. I mean, Pete Graves put a tweet out earlier. I mean, it was a across the board tweet about all the names that we've been linked with over the last few weeks. Anything's possible. I think that's basically what he was saying, Stephen. I really do. Paul says, we are making Dan Burn sound like Van Dijk. I'd rather wait and get a better defender in the summer. Paul, when Van Dijk signed for Liverpool, I was shaking my head in disbelief that they paid that amount of money for him. I've got to be perfectly honest, mate. I'm not saying Dan Burn's in the same levels as Van Dijk, but in the right team, in the right squad, at the right time, with the right players, you just don't know. He could take off. He could be. Conor Cody's the same. He's another great, solid British centre half. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'd love to see those two. If I'm perfectly honest, those two. What a dream that would be. Conor Cody would be massive. £25 million bid. Apparently, I'd be very lucky to get him for that, unless there's some kind of clause in his contract. Matthew says, what do you think of Clark getting a red card in a friendly game, Holly? I think it marks the end for him at Newcastle. I mean, Al-Walid defended Clark, to be fair, and Al-Walid was there. He said that the player concerned has a habit of doing that, and he was winding him up, kicking him, doing it. So it was an isolated event that we saw because the game wasn't televised. But everyone's got a breaking point. Did you think it was embarrassing that Clark got sent off?
I wasn't surprised, if I'm being honest. I think he's one of the few that you'd probably expect to get sent off. We've got a couple of them in the side. Was a bit ridiculous fighting and stuff, it is embarrassing. If that is the case with that other player that has been winding him up, then, it is understandable to a certain degree. But, it doesn't make good reading in a friendly, especially when he is struggling to get into this Newcastle side. I don't think Eddie Howe would have been impressed.
No, Jano says, would you be confident in our goalkeeping position if Dubravka goes down with an injury, COVID, and get a goalie in now, in my opinion? Yeah, I have said this, strength and depth isn't great. But again, Darlow, Darlow played okay when he played. If it was Woodman, after watching him like we did at the start of the season, I know where you're coming from. I've said right at the start of the takeover, when the transfer window's open, you build from the back. You need a solid, experienced goalkeeper, a leader as centre-half who's your captain, a great centre midfielder, and a great striker. That's what you need to have a great team. And then the rest build around it. But, I don't think a goalkeeper is a priority at the minute, at this moment in time. I think, like I said before, I think we can get through this season with this back four and with that centre-half. If we don't sign a centre-half, I won't be crying as long as we've signed a goal scorer. Not another Chris Wood. Chris Wood will do well. He'll be a perfect foil for Callum Wilson or another. He'll lay the ball off. He'll win the headers. He'll get you the odd goal. He won't get you 20 goals a season. And that's what we need. We need somebody to play off Chris Wood. That's basically what we need between now and when Wilson gets back. You need 4 in an ideal team. You need competition across the board. You need 4 centre-halves. You need at least 4 good midfielders. You need four people who can play up front. 4 good wingers. 4 fullbacks. That's what you need. You need competition. 4 goalkeepers. You need competition across the board. And that's what Newcastle hasn't had. Nobody's been breathing down any of these players' necks. And that's why we've had the complacency, and that's why we fell back. Failure to invest, failure to bring in players in transfer windows. That's what happens. Regarding Fed, I think he's not good enough for the demands of Eddie Howe's team. He's got no legs to play the high line. Howe requires, we need Botman in, says Mark. Is anyone off work tomorrow? Well, I'll be working, but I'll be back in for the show and doing stuff. But I think there'll be a lot of people who won't be at work tomorrow, just watching the TV. There'll be a lot of people on their phones at work. What a day yesterday. Thank you, Bolton, says Alan McKenzie. Good luck to the lasses today. Me and Dad should be there cheering them on. How are the lasses? Yeah, God, I don't like to talk too much about Sunderland because they're so far down. We cannot see them these days. But what a result that was, wasn't it? I didn't see that coming, and I don't think the new signing Bath was up to much. 6 goals. One of them was an own goal by Bath. They let the plug out, I think.
Yeah, that was a good result. It certainly made my day, and I think that's the pattern we're going to start seeing now. They'll drop off and bottle promotion once again.
Twitter's going mad, says Rachel. Botman's in an airport. Oh, God, mate, it started already. And, of course, people are going mad on NUFC Matters as well because it's... Okay, here we go. Steve Bennett. Thank you, sir. He says, just for you, Steve. Yes or no? Pie, chips, and mushy peas in a bun.
No from me.
It's a yes from me.
To be honest, it's not bad. It's not that bad, but the pie is massive. It's like, imagine how many carbs will be in that.
Yeah, I had one last night. Savoury mince pie. It could be chicken and mushroom.
In the bun, though.
Oh, no, not in a bun. No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough chips in there. Probably about 18 chips. It needs a bit of... What it needs is tomato sauce in there.
Oh, no.
And some gravy poured over the top of it. But because Steve's put that in, it has to be like that. Okay, people in the chat, I just need a simple yes or no. John, try and count. Needs curry sauce, says Andrew Bygate. Can you just put a yes or no for that in the chat, folks? And then I'll, essentially for me, Personally, I'll certainly eat that at the end of the season. But yeah, yes or no? Yes or no? Just put yes or no, and then we'll get John to count them up. No, John. Just put no. You can only put one no in, mate. You can't have three. But there we go. That is this week's. I'll happily tuck into that, and Holly will let you know, because we're going to leave it to the crowd today in the chat, and we'll see what they say. Okay, here we go. I just love this music. Lots of no's. I don't know why. Like, you would have to have a jaw like a python for that. But yes, says Vince. Roger says no for me, but yes for Holly to eat it.
That's horrible, honestly.
Yeah. Barry says, I think the pie would be more capable in defence than Lascelles.
I'm not going to disagree with him.
Yes, but needs more chips, says Ian.
Can we just appreciate that you said we'll put tomato sauce on mushy peas, or that is like a whole new level of wrong?
You've got to have tomato sauce on mushy peas, for God's sake.
I really hope you're having a joke right now, because that's like so wrong.
Soaks up the beer, Holly. I thought you would know, says Gary. Tom says the ingredients aren't bad, but a bit unmanageable as a butty. So no. Oh, God, there's so many no's. There's so many. Steve Bennett. This isn't looking good, mate. This isn't looking. You can't get that in your gob, says Graham. Oh, I'll give it a go, mate. I'll give it a go. Dembele, back to football. Dembele could be that player tomorrow. I'm sure PIF would like to say they've acquired a player from Barca. Dembele, again, it's another name mentioned.
Yeah, I did a little piece with BBC at the beginning of the window, and that's a name that I mentioned I would like to see come to the club, so I'd definitely be happy with that. Yeah,
pie, nice chips, nice peas, nice bun, nice Joey Tribani School of Food, says Graham. Whoever that is that a striker? Who would be your ideal striker, says Mark. I agree with you, but I'm struggling to think who we could sign. I would, Brayton Diaz, I would bring him in. I'd go for youth, a young player who needs to make his name in this Arsenal striker we'll keep getting linked with. Is another one. I was speaking to somebody today. They were saying, "Yeah, I would get him in. He's young. It's a chance. It's a chance for him to shine." I would break the bank for Diaz. I think he's got it. I think he's got what it takes. Newcastle can afford him, and I think he'd play well alongside Wood. So that would be my choice in this window. I think they'll look bigger when it comes to the summer. You know what I mean? Gary says no because I don't like peas, Steve. Well, that's fair enough. Stuart Taylor says, remember that one time Leicester nearly got relegated one season and were champions the season after? Yes, do remember that. Oh, Joey from Friends on TV, says Graham. Thank you, mate. No to Dembele. Too expensive. Zapata, yes. Jan, you're just following your own wants and needs there. You want Zapata. You're not bothered about Dembele. There we go. Gordy says, surprise, Steve hasn't mentioned the Sunderland result. What's the point? What is the point? They're so far down, it's unbelievable. They're blowing it again. It's a waste of time. Let them crack on. We're living in their minds rent-free, not the other way around. Mint sauce with mushy peas, not ketchup. Yeah, I like mint sauce as well. Not as well as tomato sauce. Paul Cisco says, let's do the Lingard loan deal with one add-on. Man U pays 5 million for every point we take off their top 4 competitors.
This sounds good to me.
It's a good idea. The clone lad says, with social media controversy with a certain Man U player, it's hard to see Lingard going anywhere now. We've had the flip of that from somebody at the start of the show saying it's a possibility because of that. So there we go. Look back 1 year to now. We are in dreamland. Tune, we certainly are. The Sunderland catering team are interested in those pie buns. They want to order 6, says Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Would you count Lingard as your goal scorer, Steve? Yes, I probably would, because he scores goals. Proved, tried and tested. So yeah, I probably would. I would accept that because he's an offensive player and he'll get goals. But we still need a goal scorer. We need somebody up front, you know. As I've said, I mean, Gibbo was arguing the toss on Thursday with me about it, and why have we spent 25 million on Chris Wood? It's clearly a game plan. They clearly have, an idea of what they want to do. So that's why we spent 25 million on Chris Wood. I would probably have 4 or 5 new players. Which players would you leave out of the 25 man squad? you'd leave a goalkeeper out, wouldn't you? Or, I think we said Gillespie would probably drop out. I would leave Longstaff out, maybe as well. I don't think Longstaff's going to be has got a long-term future at the club. It's interesting. I've listened to Lee Clark, Alan Thompson, both having their say about the Longstaffs, and they both feel that they should leave as well. So anybody else who you would leave out, Holly?
Probably Dwight Gale, because I don't think he's going to get a chance this season.
Well, you'd probably leave Fernandez out if he's, if Fernandez, they know what's going on with Fernandez, we don't. You'd probably leave Fernandez out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if he's still struggling with whatever seems to be bothering him, then you've got to, unfortunately, because although I think he's a good centre back, I just don't think that he's got the fitness anymore.
Right, okay. I've read that we bid for a 33-year-old world-class striker, says Mike. No idea who that is. This has caused a debate in this house. I'm with Holly and Alan Mackenzie's with Steve. That must be with the food.
It must be, yeah.
Is that tomato sauce and mushy pea? Is it? You'll have to let
surely
us know.
Everyone's got to be with me on that. Apart from my dad, maybe, because he puts tomato sauce on everything. But normal people...
Yeah, maybe as well. Let us know what the debate is, Mozza. Do you think Gale will leave tomorrow, and who would you think will leave? Well, I think Gale will still be here till the club's, until his contract's out. I mean, he just doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. But it would be nice to see. I mean, Al-Walid did tell us that Gale and Matty Longstaff have been training separately to the team. Almost as his interpretation of that was that Gale and Matty Longstaff could be off to pastures new. Is that what do you think Gale will leave, Holly?
No, not in this window. I don't think we'll see anyone leaving. And in terms of Matty Longstaff, I think the reason why he was probably training separately is because obviously he's just came back. Eddie Howe will want to monitor him, see what he's like, and see if he can fit him into that side somehow. And I'd love to see Matty Longstaff be given a chance. Dembele
is a cracking player. Relegation star. No, Cody Wolves 136 million, says Barry. Give them it. 35 million for Tarkowski defence. Sorted. Could be Muller, says Jan. Yeah, could be. But the 33-year-old striker, I think. Tune, my old man's a dustman, says, yeah, no. Bruno's dad drove a taxi. He wears number 39. He's got him and 5 of his mates in, so Newcastle will be fine. Yeah, okay. I can see that. I don't think that'll catch on. People can't even get the blade and races right at the match. Never mind that. You'd have to hand song sheets out. I've marked Gibbo down for some intensive cult positivity therapy. That's hard to say, Jeff. God, giving us tongue-tied things like that on a Sunday morning before I go out. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you. Alan says, had forgotten all about Sunderland since the takeover. They are in a different world from us now. They certainly are. No doubt about that. Karim Benzema, would you take him, Holly?
Never seen him play. Don't know about you.
Always be careful. Always be careful. We've seen what happens with people reading names out on podcasts this week. Dembele is a wrong'un. That's your opinion, Brian, not NUFC matters. Leave well alone and get Zapata for Jan for the birthday. Okay, well, that's a great suggestion. Matthew says we should go in for Diego Costa for 4 months as he is a free. What do you think about Costa? He's been mentioned, hasn't he, a few times?
Yeah, I would like Diego Costa brought to the team. And another name that I think would be a good signing is Alexander Isak from Real Sociedad. I don't know if you've seen him play, but I think he'd be really, really good in this side. Yeah.
That's another good shout. Diaz, yes, from Blackburn. That's who I would take. Stephen, 100%. Geordie Toon for life, taking it back to food. I'm with you, Holly. Brown sauce over red every day.
I don't agree with that either. You shouldn't put any sauce on mushy peas. That's like a sauce on its own.
Oh, she's putting words into your mouth.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Can you imagine the transfer window when Newcastle are pushing the top 6? Gordy. Honestly, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? Can see 3 or 4 being released after tomorrow, says Graham. Yeah, they just need to get the bodies in, don't they? There will be people going, I think. It's looking like Gale will be at Newcastle until he draws his pension, says Graham. Yeah. Mozza says the whole thing. He wants it for breakfast with tomato sauce. I say no.
That's not right for breakfast. You surely agree with that.
Oh, God, unbelievable. There's a guy in the gym I go to who works at the gym. He had chocolate cake for his breakfast.
I mean, that's acceptable if it was his birthday, but if not, then no.
It wasn't his birthday. That's what he has. Chocolate cake, galaxy,
Every
and a
morning.
can of Coke. Yeah, more or less.
And he runs a gym.
But he works in a gym, yeah.
Oh my God.
He says that he gets up at 4 o'clock, so he has his breakfast at 4. So he didn't quite say what he had for breakfast. And he says that's his dinner, but that's at 6:30. So it doesn't make sense. Any idea who the marquee signing could be that Mitch hinted at? Blue Moon Boy, I've got no idea. And I've got to be perfectly honest, I've never asked him. Marquee signing, could be anybody. Gareth Bale. There's a name. Throw that into the mix. Could be Gareth Bale. He came to Spurs, did a job on loan. Why couldn't they do that? Why couldn't he come to Newcastle? You never know. Money talks. Holly, are the dead pigeons still in the St James's Park? I forgot to ask, says Tom.
I have no idea. I sit in the corner, not the Gallagher.
Well, I was in the corner with Holly for the cup game and I couldn't see them. But it was at the far
I think
end.
they're at the back of the Gallagher, normally, the pigeons.
It's at the front. It's at the front of the far side of where you are. Anybody know if the Gallagher pigeon's still there? Certainly hasn't been in the chat. Maybe he's being cremated. CB and Striker tomorrow, please, says NUFC TV. Hope so. Costa to come off the bench for 30 minutes. Yes, please. Isaac, yes. Let's steal another Arsenal target. Andy Davis says if we get Thomas Muller, we also need Declan Rice. Then we'll have Muller Rice.
That's quite good.
I like it. Graham Coleman says if PIF miss out on signings this transfer market, they might go for them in the summer, providing we stop up. That's the only problem. Alan says, is Dembele not injured a lot? Zapata, for me, is better to stay up. Holly plays for Real Madrid. Must have been the player you mentioned earlier.
All right, okay. I thought it was Real, so I should have some reason, but maybe I'm
okay. Roger says, Luke Edwards saying we're trying to get another 2 signings in. Yeah, he's been commenting quite a bit, hasn't he, on this transfer window. It was Chilean Toon fan who discovered Brayton on FM and tweeted about it, which led to him being called up to the national team. Would you take Defoe? No.
Absolutely
Would you take
not.
Defoe?
He's
No,
like 40, isn't he?
Yeah, God, I wouldn't take him at all. Still praying the Geordie dentist is right, says Andrew. Yeah, I think there's still time for him to be right. The top 6 will end up being a top 4: Newcastle, Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Jeff says brown sauce. It's a matter of principle. Tomatoes for people from south of the time. Oh God.
Well, I'm neither, so
getting all political. Holly, Isaac was at Arsenal last night. He even brought a Rolls Royce to drive around in. Isaac 9 as his number plates. The car was registered just this week.
I mean, yeah, I didn't know what he'd been up to, really. I haven't kind of checked in him since before the transfer window. Frank
Smith says, Wallace said yes on the pie. Good morning to Julie. Yano says, Daddy's brown sauce on peas is lovely. Jeff's well said. Isn't Ashley suing Mandy for removing the pigeons? Potentially. I never thought of that, Jeff. I never thought of that. He's trying to feather his nest. I hope we get Costa and think the owners have done a good job without a director of football. I certainly do. I had this conversation again the other day about it. Arsenal struggling for goals, yet prepared to let Nketiah go. Is he a good signing for us if he comes to Newcastle, Holly?
I probably wouldn't go for him, no.
Okay, I'm an Aussie Newcastle supporter of 30 plus years. Just want to say, love the channel. Thanks for the access since we don't get much Newcastle coverage over here. Rated Terra Firma, thank you very much. Always great to hear from people on the other side of the world. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoy it. Good luck to Newcastle women against Ipswich today. Yeah, best of luck to the girls. Lascelles being our first choice centre back for the rest of the season could cost us, in my opinion. Yeah, I think we've got enough in the back four to get through. What about pigeon pie, anyone, says Graham? Not the one that's been in the Gallagher. It's been there 20 years. Holly, I don't like the peas or red sauce. Sauce on peas is a no-no.
Someone with common sense, finally.
Ketchup, brown sauce. I like both, but neither belong on mushy peas, says Tom. It's still going on. Okay, we're going to have to draw it to a close. I'm sad to say that suggestion of a pie in a bun with mushy peas and chips is not going to be in the final end of season food challenge, Holly.
Happy days.
I knew you would be happy about that. Yeah, so obviously we are going to be back tomorrow. There is a bit more content to watch on NUFC Matters as usual. And we've as I say, back tomorrow night. It's 6 o'clock now. So I did mention at the start of the program that it was going to be later, but it's going to be 6 o'clock. And you will be able to join Chris and Pete for your usual fans forum, but it's a deadline day fans forum. They'll be on screen. If you want to join them on screen tomorrow, the link will be in the chat below. I'll put this up later on so you can set a reminder. And then after 7:30, Holly and I will be taking the show forward. We'll have a few guests on, some maybe from other clubs, and they will be talking about the transfer window per se. We'll be keeping one eye on it as well and making sure that we keep you up to date if there is any news on Newcastle United incomings. Don't forget as well, the Summer Do is on Friday, June the 17th. We've got a tribute act on as the entertainment, VIVA MORRISSEY, and it'll be a great get-together. Tickets for that are available on Voucher and on Groupon. So if you get onto Voucher and Groupon, I think they work out at about £7.50, £8, and all proceeds, as usual, are going to the food bank. If you struggle on Voucher and Groupon, you can pay for the tickets on newcastlelegends.com. Details will also be going up this week about the Alan Shearer Do, which is taking place at St James's Park on the 7th of April. It's a black tie affair. It's quite an expensive dinner. We've been at the club and we're looking to raise a lot of money for charity. So we will be announcing that properly this week. But 7th of April is the ticket, is the date for your diary. So keep an eye out for that. Going to play out, as always, with the adverts on this show because I haven't had time to go through them. And Holly, I will see you at the Time Theatre. And if anybody wants to come along today, you can pay on the door. There are limited tickets left for an afternoon with Peter Beardsley. VIP reception starts at 1 o'clock. Standard tickets entry at 2. And the show starts with me, Super Mac, and Gibbo at 3. And then at 3:30, Peter Beardsley will be on stage with Mick Lowe. So if you want to come along, you can buy your tickets at the door. Get yourself along. Holly, great to see you. I'll see you tomorrow night.
See you later.
Thanks to all our sponsors. Spider VPN for all your internet security. Google Spider VPN. They come up at the top of the Google search list. They are the boys to trust and will protect your computer from unwanted bugs. Skipsandbins.com. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy contract, free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks also to L&G Family Funeral Directors, 0191 389 7245, and to Garden of Healing Dispensary, CBD hemp and cannabinoid specialists, www.thegohd.com. Thanks also to Arcot Interiors for all your kitchen necessities. You can find them at the bottom of Heaton Road, and Google Arcot Interiors. They come up at the top of the Google search list. Thanks also to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wolves and Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, NUFCmatters.com. Thanks also to jabsignature.co.uk for all of the flyers that they do for us. Thanks to Media Arts for all the video work. If you're a first-time visitor to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the Newcastle Legends logo in the bottom right-hand corner, and that's it. You can subscribe for free. We still do 7 shows a week, and they are all free. Hit the thumb up underneath the video to like it. Click share to your social media, and drop into the comments box to speak to like-minded Newcastle fans. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes and Spotify and other podcast providers. The show usually goes up 24 hours after the show. If you want to join the NUFC Matters cult and get a cup, a pen, a scarf, and your membership card and entry into the monthly draw, put your phone over this QR code and it will take you straight to the website. Failing that, go to NUFCmatters.com and become a member. If you want to come and see Malcolm MacDonald pre-match or post-match, we are at the Dog and Parrot. It's kid-friendly and it goes great food and beer, and you can come and meet Malcolm in person before the match or after the match during the season. Make a donation to the food bank via nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk. The matchday bucket is operational 365 days of the year. If you want to follow us on social media, then go to NUFC Matters. We've got a Facebook group and we've got a Facebook page. And if you're into the true crime stuff that we do, then follow Steve Wraith's True Crime Interviews, and that is a Facebook group. My personal Twitter follow-on page is @Steve Wraith, and Instagram is Steve Wraith. Give me a follow on there too.